No! 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 What up, ghosts? Just the horror pop extravaganza. Yes, the horror pop extravaganza where the macabre meets the mindful. If this is your first time, welcome. Welcome to our little growing army of like-minded people who are like, I like the horror shit, but I also want to feel a little bit better about myself, feel a little bit better in the world. And I guess we're the show for that. I don't know if there's anybody else out there doing it, but we are the show for that. So welcome. We are so happy you're here. I am Pops Ghostly, and with me today I've got
Reynard Pushe-Schwett.
Reynard Pushe-Schwett.
That's correct.
Oh, fuck. Once I said it out loud, it all made sense in my head. I don't like that. It just made me cough. I don't like that one bit, Renard, but I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy to be here with you. Today's going to be a fun one. It's going to be an interesting one because it's a subject that I've liked for a long time. Going back to a very early memory of a Twilight Zone episode that deals with almost this exact same thing. And I like this idea. I think it's a fun idea to walk around in and a cool sandbox to play in. And the world we live in, this is becoming even more and more relevant as time goes on. And I think is going to become more relevant. I want to say you brought this to the table, right?
Correct.
Sweet. So why did you grab onto this? What happened? How did you find this movie?
I just liked the people in it and I heard it was cool.
Sick.
And so, yeah, like I'm down I'll try anything that someone says is good one time.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll try it a bunch of times. I might try it like once a year and be like, do I still hate this? Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. I still don't like it. I tried though. I tried again. So, your palate changes over time. Your palate changes. We are going to dive into today 2025's AI techno nightmare companion. Or it should be called Fuckbot. They said Fuckbot a lot.
They did say Fuckbot a lot.
What made me sad, though, is that if you look at technology, as technology has developed over the, centuries and stuff like that, the first thing that always explodes is pornography.
Yeah.
It's the biggest market on any, whether it be television, probably taking pictures. As soon as people figured out you could take pictures to look at later, they're like, yo, show me your titty. You know what I mean? It's been that way. You can find all that old stuff. And so in a way, when they started throwing around Fuckbot left and right here and there, I was like, it kind of makes sense, dude. Like, that's what people would do, and it would be gross. But why don't you, before we even get fully into this thing, because you're right, there's a lot of cool players in this stuff. I'm not going to give you my rating and all that shit yet, but I think it's worth definitely promoting all of these people who helped make this thing possible.
Absolutely. And like you said, this movie is not necessarily a new idea. I think it's more relevant than maybe it has ever been.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a really cool thing with it that I've seen a lot of the movies like this not attain. So I'll just throw that up right up front. Okay, Companion 2025, rated R, 1 hour and 37 minutes, directed by Drew Hancock, as well as written by, again, every single time, dude, whenever you got something a little bit weird, a little bit
director.
Explain, it's going to be the same writer and director. Coming right out of the gate, we've got Sophie Thatcher, who we just watched and talked about in Heretic.
Right.
And I thought she was wonderful in that. I thought she
crushes it, dude. She fucking kills it in this.
She's going to be the next big thing, dude. Like,
she, in my opinion, is like another Anya Taylor-Joy.
Dude, I was going to say the exact
we're seeing her in her couple early stuff, but she has the chops, man. Like, she's got the ability to pull. I mean, to play a fucking robot and then switch over to to come out of nothing and be like, what? It's good, man. She's good. All the fucking props in the world because yeah, I hope she keeps getting work and we get to keep seeing her do cool shit because she crushes it.
Yeah, and she's picking interesting stuff, which is smart, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Um, this boy's been killing it for a while, Jack Quaid.
He has, but what about I couldn't pick he looks a lot to me like Jamie Dornan from like 50 Shades of Grey and The Killing and shit.
Oh, dude, that guy's lightweight Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid is the shit. He good pedigree. His dad is Dennis Quaid. His mom is Meg Ryan.
So I'm trying to think though, what else is he? I mean, what am I forgetting that he was in that I would have seen him recently?
The Boys.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, you're right. He does kill in the boys. But in this one, he does look a lot like fuck Jamie Dornan to me. I don't care what
And
she says.
he was the killer in Scream 7.
Oh, that's right. I didn't really like Scream 7.
No, I haven't liked Scream like since past 3.
I don't think I've watched Scream 7 more than the one time when I think we talked about it or some shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's not good.
No.
Another guy that we were talking about recently, Lucas Gage playing Patrick, and he was the dude who was the drug dealer in Smile 2.
Ah, at the beginning, the weightlifter guy. Sure.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. He
Yeah.
put they everybody in this shows up. And Patrick's whoever the robot is that we're gonna spoil the shit out of this movie. Heads up, we're gonna fucking ruin this because there are some twists and turns that comes. But his lover, his boyfriend or whoever husband, I really like him because he played fucking Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows, and then showed up in some other recent horror movie I watched. But dude's fucking great. I think he
That's Harvey Killian.
right. And he kind of, I feel like, is getting cast as that, gay character to be, and I'm hoping he gets to break free of that a little bit. But either way, just keep working, dude, because even if it's you show up as that all the time, I like watching you show up like that.
Absolutely. We had Megan Suri come in as Kat. I hadn't really seen her in anything before. Rupert Friend plays Sergey, and I
Yes.
thought he was an awesome character.
He's straight out of a Bond movie, dude. Straight
Yeah,
out of a Bond movie.
yeah. And let me tell you what IMDb thinks this movie's about.
Play it on me.
A weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin turns into chaos after it's revealed that one of the guests is not what they seem.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ba-ba-bam.
Yes.
That's perfect. Unfortunately, the marketing for this movie is a fucking bear because how do you market the movie without giving it away?
Right. That's a hard one. And the text opens up, even the title card looks like Barbie. It's bright pink and shit over the mountains.
I
And
love it though.
yeah, oh yeah, me too. I like when they splash the title huge, like pan up on some shit and let the title, or like Evil Dead when it was all out of the water and she's
Yeah.
fucking ah! I like that. But this opens up, you're right. How do you market it? But I think this was more of we just have to get a handful of people to see it who are going to talk about it because it's a cool fucking idea. It's a cool execution, I think, as a whole. It's not fucking perfect, but I think they did a really cool thing here. And I think the word of mouth has helped this because when I went to go watch it, it was like #2 movie on HBO Max or on Max. And I was like, oh, okay. Fucking, so people are watching it. You know what I mean?
When I just watched the low rate version of it, which has Megan Fox in it, as literal sex bot. And that movie should have been called Sex Bot.
Yeah.
It was like the one that you rent because it's not rated and you're hoping it's going to show titties, but you want to see the better made one. That was what it was like.
It's like your grandma went to the video store and got you Atlantic Rim, and you were like, "Wait a second, why do these robots look like shit? This sucks, Grandma. I want Pacific Rim, not Sex Bot." Um, sorry, but this opens up with her memory of meeting. What was his name? Josh. Josh. There we go.
Gosh. Yep.
Her meeting Josh at the grocery store. And she's like, they're too fucking, most people walk around in a fog in life. Everything's dark and you just go throughout your day. But there are those couple of moments that'll wake you up to the world where you see behind the curtain and the awe and the everything. She says there were two of them the day I met Josh, and we see this interaction at the grocery store with them. Fucking, he knocks over a bunch of oranges, and she's like, "Oh, hey, blah, love at first sight, And then the day that I killed him, and it's like, oh, okay, telling us right up front.
fucking had me right there, dude.
I
I'm
did
a
too. I
sucker
was
for some
in,
good
man.
dialogue, dude.
I was
And I was
right
just like,
there.
yes, I'm on board for this no matter what happens now.
Right. I'm 100% with this. And her voiceover is so good. She's a very talented human being when it comes to acting. And then we fade to black, I feel like, and wake up on the road together. Hey, wake up. And what's her
Iris,
name? Iris.
Iris, which is Siri backwards.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Wake up, Iris. And they're maybe in the car together, I think, right? They're driving to the
The
weekend
cabin,
getaway.
the
Yep.
setup for every horror movie ever.
Right. Driving to the cabin. And she is a little bit reserved about meeting some of these new people. We see that. They're so in love, but she's a little bit
Friends don't like me.
right, right. And when we get there, we see that right away. It doesn't stay hidden that she's a robot for very long. We learn right away. Like her friend is even Kat kind of gives her a weird look and shit like that. And then they
Right.
start discussing it relatively early on.
I feel like there's spoilers for it, but it doesn't come out until the reveal. But the reveal is in the trailer.
Right.
So, I mean, we know.
Right. Right.
I feel like if I could have come into this blind, it would have been so much more amazing.
And for me, I want to say there was something, maybe him fucking with his phone, but it's even the way he was like, "Wake up," everything, the way she talked. There were some things, but maybe like you, I was just like, "Oh, I know this shit's about a robot, so I know she's a robot."
Right.
As I had mentioned early on, there's a really cool old Twilight Zone episode where we start taking our worst prisoners and putting them on distant like asteroids and shit. Like give them a little place to live. You got to live out the rest of your days alone on a fucking asteroid. And this cat's out there, and these dudes show up once a year to drop off supplies. And I'm like, this is a lot of fucking money for stuff you're putting into taking care of prisoners on an asteroid. But they bring him a companion robot. And it's Alicia. And at first he don't like Alicia. And she's like, I'm Alicia. I want to be your friend. And then over the course of 20, 30 years, he falls in love with this robot. And then they come back and they're like, oh, you got a pardon, dude. Don't worry about it. And he's like, all right, come on, Alicia. And they're like, no, you got to lead a fucking robot. And he's like, nah, there was this relationship that had grown in between man and machine. And what's that line? We saw it. I now know what it means to cry. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
There's so much Terminator stuff in there.
Oh, dude, the hand at the end got me. I was like, that's the fucking one that started it all, dude. The one with the chip in
Right.
it that Miles still had in the fucking vault in wherever they were at. But anyways, we got to get back to the beginning of this movie before we get near the end of it. We have now a group of friends who are staying with Sergey, and we're led to believe he's a Russian mobster type character. Says some shit like, "Oh, we're getting hands dirty all the time. Don't worry about it. You like beach house? It's great." And he's like, "Oh, you don't own the lake, do you?" "No, just all the land around it." And he is like maybe a big scar on his face or some shit, but straight out of a Bond movie. Everyone is chit chatting. I think dinner and sitting down. I want to say at dinner, there's even some more hints towards her robot status and all that shit. And then Patrick and who's Patrick's guy? Do you remember his name off the top of your head?
Eli, I just called him Guillermo.
I called him Careful. But they get up and start dancing, and then everybody's dancing, and then we see Jamie Dornan and Iris go to, or not Jamie Dornan, because it's really not even him. We see Iris and Josh go to bed, and he's just like face on top of her, like, oh yeah,
That's so gross, dude.
yeah, super gross, up close face. He rolls over. She's like, oh, wants to talk a little bit. She's showing things that we understand because we've seen Terminator. We've seen all these things. Those are the first warning signs. Why is the, robot asking questions that they shouldn't? And I want to say when she was unpacking, we got the foreshadowing with the little thumbstick that was in the suitcase. Right. Mm-hmm. But she wants to talk for a second. He's like, go to bed, Iris. Poof. And it is creepy the way their eyes get all white when
I could watch that just all day long, dude. I don't know why, but I loved that effect. And
Yeah.
then when her eyes changed later, I just love eyes changing.
And these were cool. These
I'm a
were
sucker
cool.
for a good contact lens.
And this one wasn't though, because they're just like solid white. Go to sleep,
Yeah.
Iris.
Oh, dude, that's creepy.
Yeah. And it would just go straight, they would go straight to sleep. Wake up, Iris. And then as he's brushing his teeth, she's like, oh, it's a beautiful day looking out at the lake. And he's like, oh, what's the weather going to be? High of 76 degrees with a low of da 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 da. And spits it out just like your AI assistant would, whatever device you have. He's like, I'll never get sick of that shit. And it's fucking kind of weird. And it's like, okay, his relationship with her is not the same as hers is with him. We're starting to get small hints of that. Go down to the lake, babe. Go down to the lake. I'll meet you down there. Oh, I fucking drank too much last night. Just go down to the lake. Don't worry about it. I'll meet you down there. Okay, I'll do whatever you want because I love you so much. You're the greatest thing on the planet. She goes down to the lake. He's up there, and I want to say we see him fucking with his little phone thing right here. We
Yeah.
know he's doing something to her.
Right.
Adjusting, because you can just pull out the tablet and adjust all the settings, intelligence level, fucking, emotional state, how much they love you, whatever you want. You can adjust those things. And he does some, we don't see what he does, but she goes down there. He never shows up. But then here comes Sergey walking up. Oh, beautiful day. Come sit with me. And she's like, I think I should get back to you, Josh. He don't feel good. I want to make sure he's okay. No, really, Sid. Put suntan lotion on the shoulders and back. It'll make feel better. Don't want to get too burned. And she's like, oh, fuck, this is weird. And he's like, oh, yeah, I feel good, huh? You like the fucking lotion. And she's putting this shit on. He gets up and starts getting a little bit creepy. And I feel like before we get this full attack, though, we cut to the actual friend group in the house talking about her being a fuckbot.
Right.
And that's just all she is like, and it's like, don't robot shame. I think somebody says like, don't bot shame or some shit like that. Cut back to her down there. He's getting really handsy and aggressive. She cracks him in the head with a vodka bottle. Boom. He's like, that's so expensive vodka. Fucking, what do you do? And he's down on the rock on the back. Hit his head on a rock. I thought he was dead at
I did
first.
too. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's gone.
Right. He gone. And then he gets back up and just smacks the fuck out of her. Boom. Knocks her back onto the ground. Gets on top of her. We get this flashback, though, as she's telling Josh, because she just shows back up at the house covered in blood. And
Yes.
Guillermo's like, what the fuck? And she comes walking in and they're like, blah, what happened? Da da da, go to sleep. And then he ties her up. And that's when they're sitting together and he starts to, what happened? This and that. And she tells him, he attacked me. He was choking me. I could only self defense. She had a knife in her pocket. She fucking whoosh, right in his gut. Or no, she stabbed him in the side of the neck.
Bro, yeah.
And he's just bleeding out all over her face, which is not a
When she
comfortable.
shows up covered in blood, dude, that was a great
Yeah.
image, dude. She's just
Yeah.
covered in it, and she's just holding that knife, and she just looks freaked out.
Right. And she's self defense. She's like, and we learned that she can't lie. I can't lie about anything. She's like, it was self defense. He's like, I know it was. Don't worry about it. Go to sleep. And now we're starting to get more story of why they are essentially using her
Right.
to commit this murder. Yeah. He's had this plan the whole time. And when she wakes up, this is the part that really got me is we got the exposition of how they really met and how she was wheeled into his apartment, this little one bedroom apartment in a crate. And he takes her out and the guy gives her all the rules. Hey, or gives him all the rules. She can't lie. She can't do this. This is how you use it. You'll have to sync up once you get her out of the thing. Once she syncs, and he's telling her this shit. Like I just picked from a drop down menu. And
Yeah.
her emotional state here is fucking incredible. A lot of it when she has to portray intense emotion while still being restricted by a programming. He's
Right.
like, everything in you is a program. Everything is a false memory. They're only there. And we see him sitting in front of the robot, the android, sync now, state your name, sit within 3 feet of the thing, and it scans his face, and then she opens her eyes and like, hey you. But like you said, the blue fucking eyes, the actual robot eyes are pretty cool and creepy.
Yeah. I really loved about this. I put myself in the situation of her. Like, what would I have to hear to believe that I was a robot and that all my memories are bullshit? They were all programmed in there. Because like that's what she was dealing with at that moment. Like he was trying to be like, and he's so nonchalant and shitty about
He's
it.
kind of being a dick. Yeah,
Yeah,
piece of
he's just like,
shit.
you're a fucking robot. Like, don't be so stupid. Like, think
Right.
about it, dude. Say what the weather is, and she does it, and he's like, what do you call that? Like,
Oh yeah, and he starts fucking with her language. He's like, "You don't speak any other languages, right?" He's like, "How about German? Blah blah blah, Spanish, Portuguese, and just see, I can control you with this thing." But he
yeah,
really is. She's just an object. She's nothing more than in his mind, a fuck
fuckbot.
bot.
Which is it shows that that's the first thing he does with her.
Right. Oh
So he
yeah, but
how's
we
it going? And then they're in the bathroom, they're in the bedroom fucking, you know. That's
as
all that she is to him.
as soon as it happens, we see it and it's like, oh man. And everything, the lake house is really beautiful, vibrant, colorful. And his life outside of that is very dull, monochrome. Everything in that apartment is somber. And this dude, we learn quickly, is blaming everyone else for his problems in life. He never takes accountability really for shit. And has her tied up here, goes with Kat because Kat's like, what the fuck? Like, why you even got that robot back awake? We got to fucking kill it or scrub the memory and say that, she killed Sergey because we look behind this dope picture of Sergey that he's got painted of himself. He's got like $12 million in cash.
Yeah, just sitting in a safe.
Stacked. Stacked. So
And she
they're
knew the
here.
code because it was Stalin's birthday. I
Right.
thought that was cool.
He's like, Stalin's birthday is she's like, it's everything. Every password he's got is Stalin's birthday. But he is saying, all right, we got to take the money, scrub her. We'll say something went wrong with her. She, went bad or something like that. And fuck away haywire, killed this guy, yada, yada. We keep all the money. Everything's going to be good. Meanwhile, she knocked herself over on the ground and got the knife. She saw the knife on the ground and cuts the ropes off the back of her arms and shit where she's tied up. He comes over, sees her, and right before he can get out, go to shit, she punches him right in the fucking throat.
Regular dude, yeah.
And he's Kat comes in and she looks at her and gives the Wikipedia medical advice. Do this, do that, elevate, call 911, get an ambulance if this doesn't happen. And then we got Iris fucking takes off, but she had grabbed the phone before she went. So now she's a machine with her own controls. She knows how to, she figures it out pretty quick. She's out in the woods and starts adjusting shit and whatnot. But in the meantime, Guillermo and Patrick show back up. He, we learned at this point that Patrick's a robot, is also a sex bot.
So, so they say, look, like Patrick and Guillermo weren't in on the whole thing. They were just supposed to be there as like patsies. And then he's like, look, okay, things got more fucked up when we thought they were gonna be. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna split this three ways. And Guillermo's like,
Yes.
whoa, you mean four ways?
Right.
And they're like, what? No, 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 not four ways. And then he's like, fucking go to sleep. And
Yeah.
fucking dude
Boo.
just like
Or
conks
the
out.
white eyes. Yep.
Oh shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Patrick's not human. He is also a fuckbot, which makes sense now because Guillermo was always pretty cool to Iris when the other friends were pretty shitty because they just were like, why be nice to her? She's just a robot.
Right.
Guillermo was a little more sympathetic because he was also fucking synthetic.
He understands. He's fucking synthetic. He understands. I think because later on we see the antithesis of Josh and Iris's relationship with Guillermo and Patrick. What the companion bot I think was intentionally designed for. The true purpose of it, where you see somebody, they essentially are truly in love with each other. These two.
Right.
And he's a companion. He's everything this guy needs in his life. Whereas in Josh's situation, he sees her as nothing but a fuckbot that he can manipulate and just do whatever he wants with. And I like that mirroring that we get a little bit, not too much further, because it's here where we say, hey, okay, we're going to fucking gang up. We're going to go hunt her down because she's got the phone, she's got the passcode. Of course she does. She opens it up and amps up her intelligence. And I liked it when she's up on the mountain going through all the scenarios in her head.
I
Like,
love that sequence. Yeah. And it was actually showing, she's like, nope, that's not going to fucking work.
right.
But you should do another one. I really liked that.
Yeah, she goes through quite a few of them. Like, nope, that'll kill me. Nope, that'll kill me. Getting to the car and getting home, maybe. That seems like a plausible option. So she is going to start heading back, but then stops. She's behind a tree and overhears Guillermo and Patrick talking.
Right.
And Patrick knows he's a robot.
Yeah, and he figured it out himself,
Right.
which was pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
He's like, but you love me and all this shit, right? And he's like, of course, man. And you see this real intimacy between these two people.
Right.
It's nothing like Josh's relationship with Iris. It's completely different. And you feel a sympathy for somebody who's been alone and they just want a friend. That's what people, I think, need more than anything else is human connection, somebody that they can be connected with. And for Guillermo, they're both crying. He's like, I would never do that to you. I would never, because he tells them that he modded her. We forgot that little bit of information. That was the thumbstick we saw at the beginning. He's like, oh, I modded my bot so that she could kill because they're not, that's the first thing you do to robots. You can't fucking kill shit. So she's not allowed to kill, but I modded this, hid the knife on her so that I knew this would happen, self-defense, blah, blah, blah. And Guillermo's telling Patrick, he's like, I would never, dude. I would never. And Patrick, as a robot, is looking at him like seriously, like deeply. And you get this idea that these two men are in love. Her little phone starts from behind the tree. Oh shit, what do we do? Fuck. Iris, if you're back there, fuck, come out. And we get, I can't remember, she's got the gun.
Guillermo had the gun.
Yeah, but then
Damn
they
it.
fight a
He
little bit.
goes after her and they go take a tumble down a hill.
Right, right. And so
Yeah.
they roll down. She eventually gets the gun. He's trying to attack her, and then fucking gun goes off. Robot is
Really
out.
nice squib shot too,
Yeah.
right to the back. I was like, and camera right over it. I was like,
Bird's eye.
I
Yeah,
like that.
complete bird's eye. It was cool. It just exploded. Yeah, the squib straight out of his spine. She doesn't want to be doing any of this killing. You can see that she's not wanting to, but now we're seeing the robot becoming the murder machine in a way. And now Patrick is fucking fucked up. This is where his circuitry really, I think, takes a turn because we did learn you can reset him if you hold your thumb or some shit underneath their. Because Josh shows up and starts doing some fucked up shit, man. Like he turns off Patrick with Guillermo's dead hand. He holds it up under his thing and hard resets him and then uses his face to now be the love interest. And we have already seen Guillermo and Patrick's story about how they met at a costume party. You're standing on my tail, this really cute thing. We get the whole vision again. Now it's just Josh's face on there. And it's like, oh, what the fuck, man.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, he turns his violence up to like 100% and says, hey, I need you to go find Iris. My passcode for my phone is da 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 da. You shut her the fuck down. Whatever you need to do, go get her. He's on a mission now, like Terminator. Dun, 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 dun. He's ready to go. She makes the decision to. She does get in the car. She makes it to the road, but then she gets pulled over because Patrick gets her phone. Patrick gets the phone and is able to shut the car down remotely because
Well, Josh actually does that. Josh gets a hold of a phone and calls the police.
Sergey's phone.
My car's been stolen. And so the car is all voice activated. So she already had to mimic his voice to get the car to start
That
and
was
go.
cool.
That was really cool. And then it was cool because he called the cops and they just shut the car down and it just pulls over to the side and locks the doors. So
Right.
she's like stuck in there. And I was like, what a cool way to prevent your car from being stolen.
And I think they can
lock the criminal in there.
Right. Just keep him locked inside. The one window was already busted though, because he was trying to break it out with a rock before she got the voice modulator to the correct frequency to sound just like him. Drive home. Sorry, voice recognition. A robot talking to a robot. Fucking kind of weird. But she eventually kicks the window out, but as she's doing it, this county sheriff or whatever pulls up.
And I love this guy. First off, great mustache. I always respect a good mustache.
Awesome fucking mustache.
But when he drives by, he's like, fuck. Because it's like the last thing he wants to deal with in his shift.
Right. Is this?
I love that little beat.
Because he sees her after he pulls up behind her crawl out of the window. And then she flips the modulator open and real quick puts herself to German. And she's like,
she can't lie. So
Right.
she told him the whole everything that happened in German, and I thought that was a
And
great.
he's just like, oh, but it's her inflection. She's saying it all with this fear in her voice, even though she's telling the truth. So he's being sympathetic to this character. And he's like, Sprachen Sie English? And she's like, nein, nix, whatever. And has this whole conversation, like, and you said, reveals everything. Oh, you know Sergey up the hill. Oh, this makes sense. She's like, no, he's dead. If you take me there, they're gonna kill me too. I stabbed Sergey in the neck, and blah blah blah. This goes on for a minute, and then just like the fucking T-1000, we see a shadow figure, this fuzzed out figure way off in the distance, slowly making its way up, and we realize it's Patrick. He kills the fucking sheriff. I can't remember how he killed him.
Took his gun away and beat the shit out of his
His
face with
face
it.
caved his face in.
I always love a good face cave in too.
That was gnarly. That was gnarly. But you also get some good comedy in this. Like when she's driving away from Josh and she runs his foot over with the fucking cars, the cars wheel it away. He's like, ah! But yeah, he caved his skull right in, knocks her out, and then takes her back with him. And at some point gets dressed up as officer. Oh, that's not till later, because at first he's just the cook. Josh now has her back at the house, tied up to the chair. But when did Kat get fucking stabbed?
So yeah, so she got stabbed. Patrick stabbed her because she was like, "I'm just gonna take this fucking money and go. You guys can go fuck
Right,
yourself." She
right.
tried to go, and then Josh was like, "Patrick, stop her!"
And
And
we
he,
see Patrick, though, or Josh right here, his trouble with not being in control. He blames women for everything in his life. And she's like, I'm not one of your fucking robots. You can't just tell me to stay here and I'm going to stay. And that's when he's like, Patrick, stop her. But his violence is turned up to 100%. So he just stabs her right in the back. But does she die or does she just leave?
you don't ever even. She just goes and sits on the couch, and she's watching a storm come rolling in, and she kind of smiles, and that's the last time we see her.
That's what I thought. I was waiting for some sort of resolution there, but either way, he's like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "You told me to stop her. If you turn my violence up to 100%, maybe put it at like 10%. Be like, don't go. Make a little person wall. Stay right there." But then we cut to them at the dinner table, and
Yeah.
he wakes up Iris. Iris wake up. This is fucked up, man.
I loved this scene.
Yeah, intense. He's got Patrick as the one sex bot just serving, everybody, and then her tied to the table. But is this before the guys show up? No, this is after they show up. Or yes, this is before because he makes her shoot herself.
Yeah. So they're sitting at the table and they have this really great cat and mouse back and forth dialogue where he's talking about how the world is shit on him and like he's like, I'm such a good dude and the world just always shits on me and nothing ever fucking works out. And every time I get close to somebody, they fucking bail on me. And she's just sitting there listening to everything, like it's sympathetic, and then she turns it around on him.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I don't think she turned it around on him yet because I don't think that was until the programmer fucking swapped her memory out. That's when she's like, you think a couple $1,000,000 will fix the problem that you're a weak, insecure little human being or some shit like that. And
Yeah.
that was fucking brutal.
She
Yeah.
says that to him at dinner, and then he turns and he's like, you know what? You can feel pain,
Yeah.
right?
See, I don't think she told him that at dinner though. I think that was after dinner. But either way, yes, we'll talk about the pain thing because that's the most fucking savage, dude, where she's got to carry that emotion of like, I'm in the worst pain ever, but I can't do anything about it because I'm a victim of my programming. And he's like, you can feel pain, put your fucking hand over that candle.
And this is where we see that Josh is a sadist on
Right.
top of being a fucking asshole.
Right. He's fucked up, man. And he makes her hold her hand there. We start to see the melting going on underneath, the bubbling, and Patrick's just standing in the corner doing nothing, just like with a towel maybe over his hand because he was serving wine and making meals.
Yeah.
That's when Josh calls the company and says, hey, there was this fucked up robot, man. You got to come and fix this shit. Everything's fucking bad. It fucking went crazy and killed all kinds of stuff. Then he turns around, but we see in the background her arm go full fire.
Yeah.
And she's still just holding it there. And then he says, oh, Patrick, put the fire out. And he goes over there and dumps it out. And then he's like, okay, give her the gun, Patrick. Takes the gun. All right, Iris, put the gun to your head. And she's
he hands it to her like a waiter.
right, yeah. And she's fucking shaking, doesn't want to do it. Eyes like one tear and shit falling down. And he even takes her tears. He's like, that's just water. It's a reservoir. I go and get you topped off once a month or some shit like that. That was fucking uncomfortable. She's got the gun and he's like, okay, now shoot yourself. And right before she does, she says no. And there's that moment for me was like, yes, dude, yes. But she does it. Even though she says no, she pulls the fucking trigger. We see blue and mechanical parts and oil and things like that come crashing out of her head. Iris is fucking gone. Tech guys show up from whatever the company is. This might have been my favorite part of the whole movie.
I love these two tech guys.
Dude, these two dudes, but the revelation that they bring after their short presence in the house. So they come in and they're like, oh, what the fuck happened? And Josh is really trying to sell them like, oh, man, just went nuts, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. I guess she's kind of fucked up now, right? Nothing. They're like, oh, well, we'll recover all the video and see what happened. And you see his eyes like, fuck. And he's like, what do you mean? Can you even get anything out of there? And they're like, oh, no, dude, it's not in the brain. It's in the fucking gut. Like, that's where the real parts of this machine are that captures everything. And we can just, she'll be up and running in no time. Don't worry about it. We'll take her back. And he's like, oh, shit. So what do we do now? Josh takes Patrick and dressed him up as Officer Hendricks and sends him out on the road to go get these two guys. But before that, when they're in the driveway talking, the one dude says to the other, he's like, so what do you think fucking really happened, man? He's like, oh, he fucking modded her, bro. He fucked up. We're going to know exactly what he did. People take these things and like torture him in their basement and shit. And so we learn that Josh's whole plan was fucking ignorance. Like this dude was such a weak, small-minded, non-thinking person that he didn't even look into how the robot worked. He didn't even look into where, everything was that was going to make this thing function. And now they've got her back up and running. They had put her in the van, got her going. And that's when we see Officer Hendricks in the road. And he fucking popped shots from like 150 yards straight through the driver. Tap, 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 tap. Boom. Other dude gets out. Oh, fuck. What do we do? And somehow we all get into the woods and Iris gets with Patrick, and this is really fucking powerful too. This is some fucking the robot's dream of electric sheep and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She starts having this conversation because he's still programmed to do this, and she's like, this isn't right. You've got to remember Eli or Guillermo, whoever. You have to remember him. And we see this like, and the fucking memories are like clipping out, and they're going from one face to the other face. This fucking dude takes a cattle prod and suicides himself. A robot fucking kills himself because it felt such intense emotions. There was this thing they both kept saying. I felt pain. It's like a fire inside me that does something and something. And it was the love that was growing, this love idea. At least that's how I took it. And he takes the fucking cattle prod and shoves it right in his mouth and just turns it on. Gone. On the ground. I would rather be fucking dead robot than not be with Guillermo. Yeah. I feel that. We should all just take a second. Yeah. And then she meets back up with the other tech who was in the passenger seat and says, hey, can you do me a fucking solid? And he's like, yeah, I'll fucking hook you up, robot. I don't care. These people are fucking crazy. This whole thing has been crazy. She goes back to the house, is in there all creepy, whispering and shit from all over, which is super cool. And he's like, Iris, just come out. I can do whatever. And this is when she gives him the exposition because he can't turn her off anymore. He tries it, unable to connect. And she talks to him as he truly is and says, hey, you're awful and you're weak and you're small and you're nothing. And he's
And
like,
you have a little wiener.
and you got a little wiener. I forgot. You have a below average size penis.
And she's like, I can't lie.
Right.
Just to really slam it home that like that's not me just fucking with you. You
Right.
have a below average penis.
Right. And I can't lie.
Which is
Oh,
where most narcissists get their narcissism from. It's because they have a little
right.
wiener.
Right.
So they
Right.
have to control other people.
Right. And this guy wants to fully control everybody. They start fighting. He like chucks her across the fucking room though. Like she busts
Yeah.
into a bookshelf. They get in this scuffle and he's on top of her, choking the fucking life out of her. And she's like, I got one more thing to say or some shit, or shit like that. He says some last shit like, you were never nothing. You were a fucking blah, 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 whatever. And do you got anything else? She's like, yeah, I got to say one more thing and like, go to sleep, Josh. And fucking hits him in the head with the electric corkscrew. My mind thought, would an electric corkscrew drill through bone? I don't fucking know, dude. It seems like if we had corkscrews that could drill through bone, more people would be like, I fucking drilled through my friend's hand and shit. But for the sake of the movie, I think this is really cool because she jams it into his fucking head and it's as he's just leaking out, eyes go dead. Boom, get the body off of me. Cut to black, and then I want to say open up on her in the shower where she's peeling the skin off of her robot hand, which looks fucking pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's skinning herself and then packs up all the money into the bags, puts a jacket on, leaves us with the same line that she opened us up with about, I told you there were 2 days when I had seen, but we see her now free from the confines of the actual programming. I'm sure there's some programming she's still kind of restricted to, but at the same time, Patrick was evolving, it seemed like on his own, even
Right.
without the modifications. Or maybe they did mod Patrick. I think he did put it in him, but only when it turned him bad was when he did those adjustments. But we saw this kind of sentience coming through both of them, but she seems truly free at this point. They show her putting on a cool biker jacket, going to get in a fucking convertible to drive away. Thelma and Louise in it, dude. Gone. No longer a companion. She's a free person. And that's when we roll credits. So,
Oh, companion part two.
Judgment Day. So, out of 5 fuckbots, and we can say that because
Pathetic
that's
pussy is what we like to call it.
out of 5 fuckbots. Give me your thoughts and give me your score.
I fucking dug the shit out of this movie, dude. I really liked the what it was playing with. I felt like it wasn't in your face. Everything was like given to you with like dialogue and as the story unfolded. And I really just thought in that way, it felt Hitchcockian to me. Or like a Twilight Zone episode, it felt
Sure.
like
Yeah.
Rod Serling shit. Um, I was really proud of the filmmakers because they did this high concept movie, but when you think about it, it was kind of low budget. There weren't
Sure.
big special effects. There weren't anything too crazy.
Two
Um,
set pieces, maybe. You know what I mean? A lake house, an Airbnb you could rent for a couple months and be like, hey, can we make a movie on your shit in your place? Sure, why not? And then you had his little apartment and maybe the car.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was they did it on a very low budget. Kind of like what Bloomhouse is doing, do these like low budget turnaround horror movies that like are just solid and they make a lot of
Yeah.
money. And I would like to see more of that, dude. I'm so sick of seeing things that are IP. I don't
Right.
want to see fucking Connect Four the movie. Like I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. So even though this was like a familiar idea, I really liked it. I thought it brought new things to the table. I think it said a lot about the way that men treat women.
Ooh, yes.
And I thought that that was really powerful. And I thought it was super powerful that they had that message, but they could have destroyed it had they shown a gratuitous sex scene, had they shown her get raped, or had they showed her totally naked in the shower.
Right.
But they didn't do any of that. They cut that stuff out. She was beautiful enough to look at. We could understand why you'd want to have sex with her without having to be like disgusting and obvious about it, because that would have objectified the actress who was playing this character.
Right.
And so I just give them all the props for that. I give it a 4.5.
Right on.
Probably my highest rating I've ever given on this show.
No, I think you've given a 5 to something.
I would
Maybe we
never.
talked about Jaws.
It Jaws, maybe, but I thought we were going to do it and then we didn't do it. So I feel
Maybe.
like I've never given a 5.
Nice. Okay, cool. And I like your assessment as well. I'm with you in a lot of what you said. I think there were some really strong messages. For me, it's more about the robots growing, but you peel it back even farther. You know, they say, I feel love. The android can never be more than the inputs. You know what I mean? So whoever input that love strength, input it from a human condition. And you're now, so where is that line? I always like playing with that line between, you know, where is the robot and where is would I give, you know, Elon Musk my fucking consciousness through a Neuralink to put in a robot to hang out with my family after my physical body's dead? I personally will never, I can't foresee a world where I would ever be like, yep, that's the road I want to take.
Right.
And it also reveals I would have liked to have seen more of the actual world. And like you said, the budget was restricted. But what kind of world are we living in where super broke people still have access? Because he even tells her, you're a rental. Yeah, I don't even own you. So what is the world though where the robots are that, you know, what are the people with money doing? And
Right.
so I want to know a little bit more about this world because it is cool. But it just hits on that need for companionship, even though in this they show it a lot as the fuckbot, we do see Guillermo and Patrick as being a true companionship and what I believed what the robots were designed for to begin with, you know, to be a friend or a lover. But then at the same time, it's like, what mental state is the world in where you can accept an android as a true companion, even though having that full awareness? So it's
Like he
strange.
expected his friends to treat her like a real person,
Right.
even though he didn't treat her like a real person. There
No.
was there was so much psychological stuff going on. It makes me wonder, like you said, with the whole like programming of love. Well, what's love to us? It's just a
Right.
bunch of sensory
Neurons firing off.
neurons getting in your
Yeah.
brain, yeah, that make your body feel good, you know?
Right.
What is that? How can it be recreated? Can an artificial person feel real love?
Right. And that's the thing.
Humanity sucks. We as people suck, and maybe we should get rid of us, and the robots should take over, and the world would be a better place. I don't know.
It'll be them two robots, dude, from Love, Death, and Robots. I fucking love them motherfuckers hanging out, being stupid. But yeah, so I would like to see more of that or understand a little bit more of that world and where we are at, because this felt a lot like an episode of Black Mirror. It actually felt really close to that fucking most current episode, the first one.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, dude. We're all kind of hitting on these things, and I think that's the response to AI, the fear to AI that we've had, or the fear of AI that we've seen spread across media of all types as this technology continues to grow, as we get into supercomputing and quantum computing and all of these things that are, hey, we're going to bring back a fucking wolf that's been extinct for fucking how many? Yeah, we're playing with shit, dude. We're playing with shit that's a little bit scary. And this, I think, is a cool look at it. For me, I'm going to 3.75. Only because there's more that and I shouldn't say only because that's a really good fucking score for me. Like you said, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's a higher score. I'm not mad about that score because there's a ton of this that I really, really enjoyed. I want to say ran like an hour and 40 minutes.
It was
Possibly.
lean.
Yeah. And I think like Heretic, this exploded with ideas at the end. And I'm like, we stick to one really solid one and give us a chance to process, because it was a heist movie and then it was a fucking murder mystery and then it was a expose on technology and how it might take, you know, it was all these different things competing at once. But as a whole, I really liked it. I'll go back and probably check it out at some point. I think it was a ton of fun. It reminded me a little bit. Did you watch that Channing Tatum thing, Blink Twice? That was kind of like the Epstein Island fucking movie where they were drugging them at night and doing all this fucked up things to these, like, it was pretty good. And fuck, Channing Tatum killed it. And it deals with kind of the objectification stuff that this, I think, deals with as well. But that was more just straight real people in light of Epstein Island and all that shit that came out. That movie was very much that. And I want to say it might have been directed by Rashida Jones or some shit. Like, it was really solid.
It was
But this one,
Catwoman.
Halle
The
Berry.
latest Catwoman. No, the latest Catwoman was
Oh, Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, she directed that.
You're right. That one was pretty creepy too, with the big reveals and all that shit. Was like, oh, dude, fucking gross, man. So yeah, 3.75, going solid on that. Compassion is on Max if you want to check it out, or I think you can rent it on Amazon, iTunes, or Apple TV, wherever the fuck you rent movies, you can rent this thing. It's a big deal. Next week, before we get into the mindfulness portion, we are going to bringing you Stephen King's Misery. Oh, a fucking gem. I'm going to tell you right now that my opinion is fucking gem of a movie when it comes to Misery. But yeah, that'll be next week. So if you want to take the time to check that out, I'm sure that's all over the place. You could probably find it free on like Tubi or Pluto or something. If you haven't seen Misery, it is definitely worth checking out before we start talking about it, because holy shit, what a ride. Mindfulness portion of the show. I was trying to come up with something for today, and I'm like, what do I want to talk about? And it's something that I've been talking with about other people in my life recently. So I'm like, I'm just going to bring that. It seems to keep revealing itself to me in different ways. And it's the differentiation between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge, intellectual knowledge, is knowing something and understanding something. This is my ideas. These are just my thoughts on knowledge and wisdom. Intellectual knowledge is when you understand something mentally, you know it in your head, you understand the science of it, whatever. Like smoking could cause cancer. Smoking cigarettes could cause me cancer. I understand. I've seen that smoking has caused a lot of cancer in a lot of people. That's knowledge. Wisdom is the action. It's saying I'm not going to smoke cigarettes because I know it might lead me to an early grave. So wisdom is knowledge in action. You have to action it. Knowledge is knowing if I eat sugar and drink fucking 2 liters of pop all day, I might get type 2 diabetes. That is knowledge. That's intellectual knowledge. Some people might not have knowledge, and that's okay too. Even if you don't have the knowledge, you start finding the knowledge. You find the knowledge first, whatever it may be, whatever you're seeking for, whatever interest you have. You find the knowledge first, but then to act on it is to make it wisdom. And we've got to do more acting on our knowledge. We've got to do more because we fucking know so much now, even myself included. And I've been looking at evaluating my own life. You know, it's like I want to eat fucking this, but I have the knowledge that that is inflammatory. I have the knowledge that multiple sclerosis is an inflammatory disease. I have the knowledge that eating an anti-inflammatory diet will probably, maybe, result in me having more energy and being able to do things I want throughout the day. But if I just have the knowledge, but say fuck it, and then start eating donuts and shit anyway, eating steaks and eating fucking all these things anyway, that's just knowledge. It's only taking that second and saying, okay, I have to fucking act on what I know is the right thing. Because I have the knowledge, I have the thing, but until we can act on it, it doesn't become wisdom. And wisdom is what'll take you to where you want to be in life. Wisdom is what'll take you to that next level. Wisdom is what'll get you out of your own fucking way. And wisdom is hard because knowledge sometimes, even with knowledge, habits can trump knowledge. It's like you're playing a game of fucking cards, you know, you're playing some spades and it's like, oh, fuck, they just trumped the shit out of me. Our habits will do that. Because for so long, we talked about this, I think maybe a week or two ago, you know, for however many years, when my dad yelled at me, I would go eat a fucking Twinkie or something like that. And I have this habit that's subconscious and I don't even know it. So we have to fight again. And I think that knowledge of habits is a knowledge that people should pursue. Pursue the science of habits. I've read a couple books on it. If I could give you one, it would be The Power of Habit. That's the one that really changed my mind about how I look at my habits and shit like that. But you've got to be able to stop, look at it and say, okay, I have the knowledge. Now I'm going to act and make it wisdom, whatever it is. It could be your finances. It could be your health. It could be your family situation. I know I should be kinder to my kids. I have the knowledge that my kids respond to me better when I'm in a better mood and approach them in a certain way. I have that knowledge. I know that from experience. I can disregard that and be like, yo, fucking shut the fuck up. Or I can be like, okay, let me step back, approach this a little softly, and I have the knowledge that my kids might calm down a little bit. If I show up calm, they tend to get calm. If I show up wild, they tend to get wild. They feed off what I got. So knowledge into wisdom is super important. No, but understanding the differentiation between the two, knowledge and wisdom are not the same thing. They're not even remotely close to each other. You can't say, oh, I got wisdom. Like I read a book and I got wisdom. Because even you could be a theologian who studies a religious text for your entire life. Entire life. You could be a pastor, a Baptist pastor somewhere who you're up there saying words, but there's zero conviction because you're not acting out what you believe. You're not acting it out. You're in your life, you might be doing something secretly, you know what I mean, that is hindering you. And it's going to fucking turn your whole body into poison and shit like that. And so you can have all the knowledge in the world, everything, but it can never become wisdom. You could read every self-help book on the fucking planet, but if you never did even one thing that they recommended, it's never going to be wisdom. It's just useless knowledge. It's just taking up fucking headspace. So yeah, knowledge and wisdom. What you got on that?
Knowledge is knowing that you know nothing.
Okay.
That's Socrates.
Socrates. You kid, but then how would you take that and make it wisdom? Because I think I do try to do that, to forget most everything that I've ever known. That's some Buddhist shit too, is to forget, or some Zen shit, is to forget everything that you've ever known. So that way you meet every experience as it's brand new and you can take it fully for what it is without some preconceived mental bias or notion that you bring to the table. So I think there is something. You don't know anything, but I think the more you don't know and could be like, I don't know shit, and that's the best thing ever, then yeah, that's cool.
No, I've really been trying to do that, and my struggles to like better myself is to unprogram the things that have been programmed into me. Understand that there's things programmed into me that I didn't even know were programming. I just thought they were my own thoughts.
Right.
You really look at those and really open yourself up and be like, hey, maybe I'm not as fucking informed as I think that I am.
Right.
You open yourself up to actually learn something and to be able to pursue wisdom.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Is like you said, those things that are ingrained so deep that I feel we believe are so a part of us that we can't be rid of it.
Right.
Like for probably 30 years, I believed I am an anxious person.
Mhm.
I just believed that there was something wrong in my brain that was wired the wrong way, or something that that's what I am. I'm just anxiety. I learned over a long time, well, years of looking back, reflecting, like you said, opening up, be like, oh no, that's some shit that happened way back here. Fuck, we better deal with that. And then just continually dealing with all of the different things that I feel had by that point solidified so deep in the subconscious that I believed that's who I was.
Yeah.
And we've learned, through science, that the brain can create new neural pathways all the time. So it's not like you're stuck in the fucking, oh, this is my brain forever. Because by tomorrow we'll have new cells that have died off and, redone their thing. But yeah, to be able to open up to that, I think is awesome, dude. And keep doing that and just pulling at them layers until finally you're like, oh, fuck, it's kind of empty in here. And the empty spot feels like the best spot, dude. It feels like the best spot.
Room to breathe.
Right. You have room to just,
Yeah.
You're not like oppressed by like childhood fucking trauma and
Been holding on to all this stuff. It's like
Right.
you said, you can have knowledge that you're like, oh, I'm anxious. I'm an anxious person. And then you're like, let me look into this. And you find your triggers. But so often we find our triggers and we go, oh, now I know I'm anxious. It's because that triggers me. Well, let's go deeper now and figure out, okay, why does that trigger me? And let's untrigger it.
Right. Right.
Because that's the
Yes.
only way we're ever going to figure this out. Not just by like, oh, now I know, so now it's better. No.
I was sitting in my mom's living room when I was down there recently talking to her. This was a few months ago, though. And I told her that, we're talking about trigger things. And please, if anybody, you're sensitive to anything, if you need somebody, reach out to those 988 numbers. You can text those. You can call them. You don't even have to talk to somebody in person. But I told her, I was sitting there with my mom on the couch, and out of nowhere, not out of nowhere. We were talking about my mother's trauma as a child. And I think it's important for us to understand that about our parents, know their trauma so we can understand them a little bit better and be more compassionate and understanding. And she was telling me about the sexual trauma, that she had experienced as a kid. And I told her, not really thinking about it because I've already dealt with it all. I said, oh, yeah, I was molested in this house twice before, I was pubescent. And she was like, what? And I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot I didn't tell you about that. And she's like, no, that's pretty big news. But that's trauma, to your point, that when I kept digging, because I had a fucked up relationship with sex, man, for a long time. I'm talking but then I look at my dad and I'm like, damn, he had a fucked up relationship with sex because of something that happened to his dad and then the way his dad would be. And, it kind of got passed on. And I was the one that had to fucking finally, I guess, say, I'm going to deal with this. And when I dug back and looked all the way back to that time, when you're super young and fucked up shit happens to you, that set the foundation, I feel like, for how I saw sex all the way up until maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. That one event and then the roots grew from there. And, I had this weird idea of what sex should be and how it should be. And but now, like you said, there's that oppression is nowhere. Like, I don't even think about that. I'm free of that. I could teach, anybody a cool meditation technique where you actually interact with your younger self from both sets of eyes. You look at your younger self from your older self, and then you look at your bigger self from your younger self. And when you look from the younger, you can look at yourself now, if you're in a good, healthy place and be like, yo, I got us, dude. Like, we're okay. You're okay, little homie. It's all right. That was fucked up. I'm not the only one it happened to. It happened to all kinds of people. Let's do our best to make sure we don't pass that down to our kids so that they end up doing it to somebody else, anything like that. But peeling those layers back can be painful, and sometimes it takes another person. I highly recommend therapy. If you really feel trauma, like that, I recommend a therapist, somebody who can help you through it. I worked with a therapist for like 6 months until we started having conversations about, the text and shit. I'd be like, oh, I was reading in the newest mindfulness, blah, 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 this, and this. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, that's a cool idea. And we were just more having intellectual conversations. But those 6 months, she saved my life. The first day I talked to her, I sat there and fucking cried, dude. I was just bawling, crying in front of this lady. And then 6 months later, she helped me, taught me a lot of those tips and tricks. And then I kept digging deeper and deeper into how you can peel the layers back. But it is important to peel that shit off and understand that knowledge is knowing, wisdom is acting. Knowledge is knowing, wisdom is acting. You do that, you'd be fucking A-okay. Start figuring that shit out. Horror Pop Extravaganza. We'll be back next week. Misery. Wu-Tang.
No! No! No!
Extravaganza.